Who am I? How did I come into the world? Why was I not consulted? Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. The thing that cowardice fears most is decision. Hope is passion for what is possible. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. The best news the world has ever heard came from a graveyard. Christ is risen. I'm so misunderstood that people misunderstand me, even when I tell them I'm misunderstood. Once you label me, you negate me. Are you not aware that there comes a midnight hour when everyone must unmask? Take a chance, and you may lose. Take not a chance, and you have lost already. People settle for a level of despair they can't tolerate, and call it happiness. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. If I could prescribe only one remedy for all the ills of the modern world, I would prescribe silence. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. Do it, or don't do it. You will regret both. I found I had less and less to say, until finally, I became silent and began to listen. I discovered in the silence the voice of God. The question is not to be or not to be, it is what we should be, until we are not. The most common form of despair is not being who you are. Confidence is the present tense of hope. The self-assured believer is a greater sinner in the eyes of God than the troubled disbeliever. It is the duty of the human understanding to understand that there are things which it cannot understand. God creates everything out of nothing, and everything which God is to use, he first reduces to nothing. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true. The minority is always stronger than the majority, because the minority is generally formed by those who really have an opinion. The unhappy person is never present to themselves, because they always live in the past, or the future. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. The more people who believe something, the more apt it is to be wrong. The person who is right often has to stand alone. It is better to try something and fail, than to try nothing and succeed. The result may be the same, but you won't be. We always grow more through defeats than victories.